Most sports bettors think that, oh, it's just a gamble. Everything is a gamble. It's a 50-50 chance. Either this team's going to win or this team's going to win or this guy's going to hit his prop or he's not. But there is a difference between the ones that are successful and the ones that just gamble. Gambling is not knowing what your edge is. It's very important to know your edge. If you don't know what your edge is, then you have no clue on what you need to bet on each and every day. Your head's in the clouds, and either you're doing it to try to get some entertainment or you're just plain out guessing, which is what most sports bettors do. Hence the reason why the sports books make so much money off of them. So first thing I want to address is when people bet parlays, they multiply their probability and decrease it. It's really what they do. Because if you add 2 or 3 legs, you're adding 2 or 3 legs, the probability of those legs between 50 to 60%, times them by 3, guess what's going to happen there? Your probability shoots way down to 10% and below for you to be able to hit something like that. Now, when you look for an edge and you find the right edge on one play, for example, let's say a pitcher has an 85% chance to throw 7 strikeouts. Well, guess what? If his odds are minus 200, minus 220 to be able to do so, now you found your edge. Those plays are really what set you up consistently to be successful with the right strategy. And you have to adapt that to every single sport. Because if you can multiply your edge, that is where you take the gambling out, and then it becomes risk management. It's just about how much money you're actually going to be putting down on that play to be successful long term. If you have that mindset and you have the right strategy to be able to do so, then you can be successful. Now, if you guys want those strategies that teach you how to find those exact edges, make sure you click the link down in the description, as I teach this and show you exactly what edge you actually need to be successful and to actually make money rather than donating constantly. Now, once you have your edge, only half the battle is won. The next battle is the mentality, because the mentality is what separates the professionals from the people that don't do this at a high level. Because mentally, you need to understand that you're going to have losing days. It's going to happen. You're going to have losing weeks. You might have a losing month. But if you continuously try to chase your losses, you are going to lose everything, no matter if you have the right strategy or not. So your mentality needs to sync up with your strategy, because if you don't have the right mentality, it doesn't matter if you have the right strategy. All it takes is one losing day to completely clear you out, because next thing you're chasing and you're betting plays that you shouldn't be betting, that don't have an edge, just because you're emotionally involved and you want to get your money back. How many times have you seen gamblers, if you've been around gamblers, that they're at the casino and they lose a couple $100 and they can't get up and leave? They literally sit there and are like, all right, I got to get all my money back tonight. And most of the time, what happens is they end up losing more and more money until there's nothing left in their pockets. And then they take the walk of shame back to the parking lot and go home with absolutely nothing. That is the common trait that all gamblers have. Now, take an investor, for example. He invests in a stock. Tomorrow, the stock goes down 2%. He doesn't take all of his money out of the stock and go and invest it in a penny stock that's going to have a chance to maybe double or lose everything in one day. He doesn't do that. What does he do? He just sits back, he relaxes, and doesn't get emotionally involved, and knows that if he had the right strategy in place and he picked the right stock, long term, it's going to turn around and it's going to go right back up, and then he's going to go into the positive. That's the difference between investing and gambling. They're both a gamble when it comes down to it, but the mentality behind them is what separates somebody that's successful and somebody that's just going to donate and lose all of their money. So you have to make sure that you have the right mentality synced up with the right strategy. Now, if you guys want the right mentality and know exactly what it takes to do this at a high level, like I said, click the link in the description, because I don't just teach you the strategies, but I also teach you the mentality behind the game, because they go hand in hand. You need to have both, and they both need to be perfectly synced up for you to actually be successful or to set yourself up for success in this game. Because if you don't have both of those synced up, guess what? You will lose everything you got trying to figure it out. Mentality is one of the most important things that there is in sports betting, because if you just go off the handles one day, it literally could cost you your whole bankroll for the entire year. I've seen guys that stayed consistent for 2-3 months, and then somehow they just had a bad day and they just turned around and just emptied the tank out. and they put 2 or 3 months of work in to lose it all in one day. So make sure that you understand that mentality is important. It's not just about picking winners, but it's about doing this long term, staying consistent, and having the right mentality to sync up with your emotions to be able to be successful. Because if you don't have all of those all put together and you're missing one of those links, then guess what? You are going to empty out your bankroll and you're going to keep reaching in your pocket until you eventually try to figure it out the right way. Now, I come across most people that want to make a change. They truly do, but they end up just sitting on the sidelines because they can't pull the trigger. So remember this. If you want the right strategy, you want the right mentality, you want to know how to do this the right way, it will literally cost you $50,000 to $100,000 to try to figure it out on your own. I know, because that's what it cost me before I was able to actually figure out how to do this the right way. Might have cost me even more, to be honest, but I didn't know. Why? Because I wasn't even tracking things, so I didn't know how much I was losing. Just trying to figure out what the right strategy was to be able to put into certain sports. So don't be that person, because there wasn't somebody like me or our channel that I was able to go to that had the right formula, that had the right strategy, that could teach me the mentality. There was none of that. I had to figure it out all on my own. And that's why it cost me over 6 figures to figure that out. But you guys have my channel that teaches you how to do it the right way and have the right mentality, because that's what this channel is for. It's to help you, the sports bettor, learn how to do this the right way. And lastly, the most important thing out of all of it as well, to be able to be successful and to be able to pull money from sports betting, what you have to do is you have to have money. I'm sorry, but a lot of people in this industry don't have money because they're gamblers, and gamblers tend to not have any money, and hence the reason why they're gambling. You need to have a decent amount for a bankroll. You need to have a couple $1,000s, up to $10,000, $20,000, to be able to take this serious. The reason why is because if you're not willing to put money behind what you want to do, why would I take you serious? People come to me that are 45, 50 years old and have $500. How am I supposed to take you serious and think that you're going to be able to be coached and be taught the correct thing when you're 50 years old and you only have $500 to your name? So you need to have money to be able to do this. Because if you don't, there's not going to be as much that you're going to put behind it to take it serious. I'm just being honest. Somebody that goes and pays $200 a month to go to a gym, they definitely go to a gym. Why? Because they're paying for that to go to the gym. All right. And they're using their hard-earned money to go to the gym. All right. Somebody that pays $5 to maybe go to a gym doesn't go as much because maybe they're not taking it as serious. So that's the difference between somebody that takes things serious and somebody that just half-ass things. I'm not in the game to work with people that half-ass things. So make sure that you have money too when you want help and you want to take this to a new level. Because if you don't have money, I'm sorry, but I really can't help you. All right. You have to figure it out on your own to be able to get some money first, to be able to take your sports betting to the next level and look at it as an investment. Now, remember, every investment becomes a winning opportunity when you have an edge and the right strategy. I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video.